Hey, welcome to Goobertown Hobbies. My name is Brent. Today is going to be part pep talk, part dwarf painting, and everything in between. So, we're in a pandemic right now. Things are strange and frightening. And the normal tone of Goobertown Hobbies is fun and upbeat, but I realized that I needed to make this video to talk about some real stuff before I could keep making other videos. So before we do anything else, I'm safe. I'm sheltered at home, safe and healthy, and I sincerely hope that all of you can say the same, that you're safe and healthy. I hope things are going all right for you. But like a lot of folks, I've been stressed, I've been scatterbrained, and, sheltered up at home. I have been getting a lot of hobby done, but I've been skipping around to various different projects and not quite finishing anything. And eventually I realized that I needed to make this video first, and then I think actually I'll have a lot of project videos coming out in pretty rapid succession here. So this video, the overall tone, the intent is to be positive and constructive, but I do want to get through the heavy stuff first, and then we can move into the rest of the video. But what I need to say is I'm aware of the fact that some folks watching this video are probably going to get sick. So folks watching this video may get very sick or may have family members get very sick. A lot of folks are going to go through some financial hardship as a result of this economic shutdown. A lot of other folks are going to go into some real heavy stress areas, have some mental and social health issues. And I just need to say that I'm aware of that, and I want all of us to be aware of that and respectful of that people in our community are going through some real stuff right now. So just now more than ever, be good to each other, help out where you can. This is a pandemic, so that means everybody in the world is involved in one way or the other. We're all going to get through this together. We're all doing our part, whatever that is. Some people are going to work and keeping this all running to do their part. And some people are staying home and doing their part that way. So yeah, if you're going through some hard stuff right now, just know that there are folks out there who care about you, and there are folks out there who want to help. For whatever it's worth, I care, and I believe in you, and I'm rooting for you. And I do believe that this is all going to get better eventually. We're all doing our part, whatever that is, and this will get better eventually. So, yeah, that's the real heavy stuff, and I don't have a great transition here, but I'm about to paint a dwarf on camera while I keep talking about the real stuff. And again, the tone of this video is going to be constructive, and the tone of Goobertown Hobbies going forward is going to continue to be upbeat, and hopefully, a stress reliever and whatever else. But got some real stuff to talk about here, and then we can move on to the more fun hobby escapism and all that. So had this dwarf footage I didn't know what to do with. Had some things I wanted to say that I didn't necessarily want to just be my face the whole time, so we're going to mash those up. And there's not a great thematic link here, but this is Gino the dwarf. He is a dwarven grandfather, and he's tough as nails, but his immune system is not what it used to be, and we all need to be aware of that. We all need to be aware of each other and care about each other, and yeah, so let's get into it here. Alright, let's get started with this old dwarf here before we get back to business. This is from Artisan Guild. I'm a patron of Artisan Guild, and every month they have a ton of minis to download and print. And most of them I don't have time to get to, most of them end up in my digital pile of shame. In this case though, Greg from 3D Printing Pro YouTube channel talked me into taking a stab at Gino here. The 3D Printing Pro did the supports on this mini, and they're really phenomenal compared to the supports that I would have made. They do their job, but they also peel right off without hurting the sculpt too much. I primed it in black, did a zenithal highlight with white ink, and then took it upstairs to paint. So when Andrea sculpted this dwarf, he kinda made it as a tribute to his grandfather. His grandfather was a tinkerer and a craftsman, and apparently he was also super yoked, wider than he was tall, and he had a sweet beard. Well, at least that's my understanding. Anyway, Greg and I are under the impression that this mini is one of Andrea's favorites, so we thought this project would be a cool little gift. Andrea's wife Francesca is a really good sculptor and painter herself though, so the pressure's on a little bit. I want to try to make this look good. But if it doesn't turn out so great, that's okay. It's the thought that counts. I decided to paint 2 Ginos at once. That should increase my chances of getting a good one. So yeah, this is a fun printing and painting project, but I didn't quite know what angle or spin to give it for a YouTube video. So we're gonna have a mashup. We're gonna talk about current events, we're gonna paint a dwarf, and maybe a little bit of a channel update here. I want to check in with you all to make sure that you're doing well, staying healthy, staying connected, and all that. As a weak thematic tie-in to Gino here, take care of your parents and your grandparents in these times. Make sure they're staying safe and they have what they need in their homes and they have someone to talk to. The purpose of social distancing and self-quarantine is to keep yourself and your loved ones healthy. Just as important, you're also protecting grandparents out there that you've never met before. With the number of people who watch this channel, some of us are going to get sick, so let's try to be responsible and do our absolute best to not be the cause of anyone else catching it, especially not old Gino here. He's a tough dwarf, but his immune system just isn't what it used to be. Normally, I try to keep Goobertown videos evergreen, but we are living through some strange and scary times right now. There's some stuff I wanted to chat about, as a human being and also as a mini painter. I'm recording this in March 2020, the week that Adepticon 2020 otherwise would have been occurring. This would have been my first time going to the convention. I would have been flying into O'Hare Airport in Chicago and hanging out with a ton of fun and talented mini painters. Maybe I would have been playing some demo games, definitely checking out the vendor hall, probably spending too much money at that vendor hall. 3 weeks ago, it still seemed likely that the convention would occur, but the airport and the convention were starting to seem a little bit risky to me. About 2 weeks ago, sports leagues started canceling their seasons and Adepticon canceled the convention. Since then, the pandemic has spread to all 50 states in the USA. Schools and colleges are closed right now, governors and mayors are advising people to shelter in place. Things are changing fast. Many stores and restaurants have closed, others are closing in the near future. Some folks continue to go to work, some are working from home, some are out of work. The concept of normal is changing fast. We don't know how long all this will last, but it seems that we are still weeks or months away from the peak. Okay, that's the context, that's the time capsule here. As for myself, I've been physically isolated for the past week. To the best of my knowledge, all of my family members are safe and healthy. We all have our own stressors to deal with, our routines have changed, but we're all okay for now. As for my friends, most of them are safe too. But several of my old college friends and roommates are medical doctors now. A few of them actually work in New York City, and they've already been scrounging for makeshift personal protective equipment. The experts think that the epidemic won't peak in New York City for another 2 or 3 weeks yet, so the coming weeks are gonna be rough. I'm thankful for the work that they're doing, and I'm wishing them the best. So some of my old pals are risking their health right now, providing medical care to those in need. Somewhere out there, there's medical scientists working on treatments and vaccines. Engineers and problem solvers are finding new ways to manufacture or MacGyver medical supplies. Millions of other folks are keeping our power on, doing sanitation work, keeping food on the shelves, and they're delivering mail. If you're one of those people doing your job and keeping all this going, thank you. Really, sincerely, thank you. Myself, I'm stuck at home with some cats and some paint and this YouTube channel. I'd like to find a way to be useful too, so let's see what we can do here. I'll start by saying that staying home is being useful. There are finite hospital beds in the country, and even in ordinary times, most of them are occupied. There's no profit in maintaining empty hospital wings. There are not a lot of excess hospital beds out there. With this epidemic, we've got to do our part to make sure that we don't all get sick at the same time. What else can we do, though? I've been thinking. So, the Adepticon convention was cancelled. I mentioned that I probably would have gone to the vendor hall and spent a lot of money on cool minis. Let's start there. For me, the cancellation of Adepticon was a bummer. But for some of the vendors, this is a massive hit to their income. The weekend of Adepticon is a sales opportunity that these companies planned for and counted on. Most of the companies in our community are very small operations, just a couple of folks who took the plunge and tried to make a living creating stuff that they love. Small companies generally don't have much financial buffer, so this is scary stuff. Booths at conventions like Adepticon are a great place to make sales, and they're also where these folks get the word out about their products. Personally, I know that I've discovered a bunch of great mini companies that I never would have found otherwise just by wandering around at Gen Con, and I'm sure Adepticon is probably the same. I don't know what the future holds, but I really hope that most of these companies survive and make it through to the other side. I want to see them all there for Adepticon 2021 and beyond. Here's where I'm going with all this. If you still have some hobby bucks, look into ordering stuff from a small company. Buy some cool minis and games and supplies. Help some small businesses, help the economy, get cool stuff. Even some online commerce has been shutting down temporarily, so if you're unable to place an order now, bookmark a wish list for yourself and try again soon. It's actually mind-boggling to me how many companies are out there selling minis. In the description for this video, I'll drop a link to a Spiky Bits article that aggregated a big pile of non-GW mini companies. The Adepticon.org page is also featuring a list of their would-be vendors for you to check out. Speaking of small businesses, let's talk local for a moment here. Crossroad Games in Standish, Maine is the game store that I've thought of as home base for the past 15 years. It's everything that a friendly local game store should be. The owner Brendan and his wife Chris make the place feel like home. They make games fun and inviting and worthwhile. That store is a fixture in the community now. It's a place where people want to go and spend their time and connect and have fun and all that. I'm talking about my local store because it means a lot to me and it means a lot to hundreds of other people who have shopped there. There is no place like Crossroad Games, but I hope that you also have a local store that you love for its own unique reasons. But yeah, these places can be, very personal and very special. So my story with my local game store: 15 years ago, I was driving through that part of Maine with a few friends on the way to the lake. As a pit stop, we wandered into the shop, and somehow we ended up playing Dungeons & Dragons minis with Brendan for hours. After hanging out with us lads all afternoon, Brendan nabbed 3 $10 sales and a couple of lifelong customers. For many of the intervening years, I've lived in other parts of the country, but I do try to swing past Crossroad Games whenever I can. It always makes me happy to know that that place is there, waiting for me if I ever want to go and play Magic or D&D, Age of Sigmar, 40k, Necromunda, anything else. It makes me happy to know that place is there. Well, last week, the pandemic forced Brendan to cancel all games and upcoming events and drastically shrink his hours. Happenings outside of any of our control may cause the shop to close, and nobody knows how long that might last. We all have local businesses that we like, and we want them to open back up on the other side of this. I encourage you to find a way to support your favorite businesses through these rough times. Luckily, Crossroad Games is set up for online sales and pre-orders, so that's one way for us to keep supporting the shop as times get tough. Another small business that I'm supporting right now is a locally owned co-op workspace. I've got a teeny desk there where I can go when I need a change of scenery. I sit there to respond to YouTube comments and write scripts and emails and that sort of thing. I won't be going into that co-working space for a few months, but I've decided to keep my membership active so that my desk is there waiting for me when I'm ready to go back. Of course, we're all in different financial situations, but if you're a member of a subscription-based local business like a co-working space or a gym, keep that membership active if you're able to. These are hard times, but the good news here is that small business owners are hardworking and scrappy, and they're adaptable. If there's a way to pivot and continue to provide a useful service, they'll find it. Check their websites or their social media pages, or just give them a call. At Crossroad Games, Brendan is doing more web sales, but he's also been offering curbside pickup so that people can keep shopping safely. Business owners are creative. They'll find a way to stay afloat if you give them a chance. Here's another example. A friend of mine loves lifting weights, and she's bummed that her gym is closing and she's gonna be stuck at home. Then later, she texted me a photo with a barbell, some weights, and a kettlebell in the back of her car. The gym owner let her borrow some equipment for the dark times. This is absolutely genius. The gym business model isn't going to be viable for a little while, but by letting his paying members borrow equipment, he transformed into a kind of a rental business model. Your local businesses will go to incredible lengths to adapt. If a way to be useful and to keep earning your business exists, they'll find it. Give them a chance. Check their website, check their social media, give them a call. Help them through the dark times so that they're there on the other side. I'm actually going to link the website and Facebook page for Crossroad Games. Like I said, Brendan does some online sales, so you can check that out. But he also puts out a really interesting vlog on Facebook. It used to be a weekly vlog, but now it's daily. The videos are a combination of some local happenings and game events at the shop, and he also talks about some of the bigger themes that are going on in the game industry. Like almost every other small business, recently Brendan has needed to make some hard choices about what's best for his shop and his customers and his employees and his family. He's really honest and forthcoming with his thought process and his emotions, and he's probably mirroring what a lot of small business owners are going through right now. If you're stuck at home and you're out of Goobertown videos to watch, maybe follow along with B at Crossroad Games in Standish, Maine. Some of the other creators in the hobby YouTube space have started to talk about, the pandemic and this new world that we're living in. Right now, I'm aware of one from Tabletop Minions and one from Squidmar. Feel free to link any good watching in the comments. Actually, I don't know if YouTube is going to flag links in the comments, so maybe just write the name of the creator and we can go check it out. Right, so try to support local businesses and small mail-order businesses whenever you can. Try going to smaller websites first when you're doing some shopping. Over the coming months, I'm going to try to make an attempt to feature fewer GW minis on the channel and more minis from smaller companies that deserve your attention. Let's all do our part so that our favorites make it through this and to the other side. Okay, that's my spiel on supporting the businesses that we love. Now let's talk about supporting the people that we love. Let's make sure that we're all caring for our health, mental, physical, and social health. Most folks I know are hunkered down in seclusion right now. Luckily, the Northern Hemisphere is heading into spring rather than into winter. Unless you live in a big city, it should be reasonably safe to go outside for a walk now and then, get some sunshine, get some exercise. Be careful of what you touch, but yeah, get some exercise, take care of your body. As gamers and mini painters, the good news is we're more protected against sheer boredom than other folks might be stuck at home. We've got plastic to paint to keep us busy while we're shacked up in our homes. We still gotta stay connected though. One of the silver linings of this pandemic is that I've been hearing from friends that I haven't talked to in months or years. Old text chains and email chains are waking back up from a long slumber. Just because we're secluded does not mean that we can't be connected. Maybe use that phone of yours to actually call some folks. Chances are pretty good that they're not too busy and that they'd love to hear from you. Another bit of silver lining, my Vampire Dark Age RPG campaign has actually been getting some games in recently. Normally we can only schedule everybody once every 3 months or so, but our frequency has gone way up. Again, looking on the bright side, maybe this is an opportunity. Maybe we can actually connect more than we had been before. Speaking of remote games, the West Marches D&D campaign that Crossroad Games runs switched to Discord, and it seems to be working. RPGs like Dungeons & Dragons can actually do pretty well remotely. And of special interest to us goobers, hobby groups have been super active recently too. There have always been some paint and chat groups floating around, but there are more of them now. Adepticant on Facebook seems to be a hub of activity, but there are tons of others. For this video, go nuts with posting links to groups in the comments section, or the names of groups who don't want to get flagged by YouTube. Check out folks doing painting live streams on Twitch. Get to know some folks. Get that human interaction however you can. The Goobertown Patreon Discord server continues to be active too. I can always count on those goobers to keep me entertained and in the loop. On that note, if any of my patrons need to cut expenses over the next few months, I totally understand. Bump down to $1 or whatnot, and maybe come back later when the skies have cleared. I'll still be here in a few months. If your discretionary funds are limited, use them where they really count. Make sure that your local shops and your favorite small mini companies are still around for when this all blows over. But yep, Goobertown Discord server is a decent place to get some social interaction, and $1 gets you access. Think about it. So yeah, mental health and social health is important. I've been doing okay, but I'll admit that I've been stressed and kind of scatterbrained. I've been working on a ton of different projects, jumping around and trying to stay busy. In some ways, I've actually been pretty productive, but I haven't quite finished any one project to a point where I was ready to publish a video on it. Even this dwarf isn't quite done, but the footage is good enough that I can use him as a visual stimulus while I'm rambling here. This is an awesome sculpt, and I really enjoyed painting it. Andrea and Francesca at Artisan Guild are always worth supporting, and I'll link them in the description. There are a ton of other sculptors out there too, with smaller followings who are also worthy of support. If I heard right, I think that in the coming days, Danny from 3D Printed Tabletop is gonna do a video survey of some smaller sculptors who are worthy of support. Keep an eye out for that. I'm not quite done with this paint job yet, but I think it's getting close. I'm mostly done highlighting the muscles, and I think they look alright. I just gotta finish highlighting all his other bits and figure out what I'm doing for his base. Those fists ended up being jade. They look cool, but maybe they need a bit of spice. Gotta figure that out. Oh, also, I painted one of these guys with khaki green pants and one with blue pants. Which pants are best? Let me know. Now that I think about it, it's alright, this mini isn't quite finished. I'm giving this as a gift, and one of you narcs is probably gonna tell Andrea and Francesca about this video. But they won't get to see the finished product until it shows up on their doorstep months from now. It'll still be a surprise. Kinda. Oh, one more thing. This is Johan the Scared Peasant. I've been having fun with Johan on Instagram recently, and I think he's gonna make an appearance in more of my videos. This figure really sells the imminent danger of anything that he's running from. This mini is from Warhammer, the old plastic giant kit. But really, every mini company should make their own variant of Johan. Hint, hint, hint. Anyway, in these dark times, I'm going to endeavor to put out more frequent videos to give you more to do and more to think about while you're in isolation. I've got a lot of irons in the fire here that are almost ready to publish. And as always, I'm going to try to keep the tone fun and mostly reassuring. Paint some minis, watch some Goobertown hobbies, talk to your friends, take care of your family. Things are going to be okay. Eventually. Now, if you need even more of my rambling, a podcast is in development. That's still under wraps, but it's going to hit soon. These videos are scripted, but in the podcast I just have an unscripted chat with a very special person. In the videos, my edges are a bit rounded off, but the podcast is gonna be a bit edgier? Hopefully that's fun. I don't know, I like it. Final thoughts here. If you're one of the folks out in the world doing important work and maybe risking your health to keep society running, well, thank you. If you're in self-isolation, thank you for that too. Don't take unnecessary risks, and please wash your hands. Stay healthy, connect with your friends and your loved ones. Keep them safe and healthy and happy. If you have the financial security to do so, please buy something awesome from your favorite business. then maybe go and search for some other small businesses that deserve your support. Alright, that's it. Please be good to each other, be well, and I'll see you again soon.